Alright everybody, hey, welcome to Clark's Place. Today we're going to continue with the QA1 front suspension, and like the places that I knocked off those things, here you can see where I put a big plate in there and welded it all in. But now that I've got those bump stops off, let me start filming here. Now that I've got these bump stops off here and where I welded in that plate there, I've got a crack here that I see that I didn't notice before, so I may cut out and put some new steel in. I've got a hole there that I'll plug weld and maybe just clean up and box in that a little better than it was. Yeah, I got a hole there, and just do some cleanup welding work to make this back solid to where I can sand it back down, prime, and then paint it all the same body color. I think that's the only holes is what I created by knocking all that stuff off, so we'll see. Alright, so here's my holes. They're a little bit pulled out. Flatten these a little and then try to fill in the holes here. Alright, so that's recessed a little bit now. And that's recessed a little bit now. So I'll be able to, I think, trace, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of weld all the way around that. It should be all really good metal, considering this was a weld that was drilled out and then ripped off. But that's a little high still. I think this is all really solid. This is the better side of the two, considering I had to, the other side it was beat in right here. That plate had like a split in it. So I'm gonna start here and just fill this in, and then when I grind it off, it should be all flush. Like right now, maybe that corner right there is a little bit high. But I'm gonna put a ton of metal welding and stitching around this, and then I'll be able to slowly close that hole, and then the final will be like melting all of it. It should all get really red hot, and then be all back flush after I hit it with the grinder. And it might mound up kind of like I did on the rear plug welding video. And I don't care if it's all mounded up, as long as this gets to where it'll be boogery up inside there too, I'm sure. But I want this flush, so when that new K-member gets mounted on here, it's got a nice flat solid metal surface that's been prepped. And oh, you can see the green etching primer and all that. So this has layers and layers of primer and stuff too, but this is all ground down, ready to go. So we'll get the welder ready and we'll start stitching. All right, so to set up my gauge here, it looks like this is the edge of the arm coming around here for this metal there. If I look at it, it looks to be looks to be 14 gauge steel there. That looks like the right one. So I'm gonna set this bad boy to 14 gauge. Bam. 14 gauge, and then the Millermatic 215 pretty much does everything for you, so should come out of there and be just dandy. We'll see. Alright, you can see that hole is now closed. But I think if I were to grind that off, I'd still have some pinholes or something. So now that I've just spotted all that, I go around and heat up the whole thing again. We'll see how that works out here. Alright, hopefully that does it. We'll see. We'll do it again here on this one. I like that one a little better. I might go around the whole outside of that one as well. All right. I think that's a successful plug. I got one to do here too. We'll reset up the camera and we'll do this one. And then, I guess after that, I'll do the rest in time lapse because you can kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here. Grind it off, do all that once it cools down, and hopefully be ready to go. All right, so one more here, one more hole to fill. All right, so we'll go here.
Pull the first one off, find the right side. Okay. We're all okay. So
I think that looks pretty good. I don't see any cracking or anything on this side. Right, that looks a little thin there, so I'm going to put a little weld on the top of that and then we'll grind that flush too. I just put a little bit more metal back into that. I'll grind it flush too. So I think I like it. All right, so let's get this bad boy going. I like that one. And I don't know who taught me or if YouTube taught me, but I always try to just start on one side and build up some metal. So if this is rusty, which this metal isn't rusty, but you can put some good metal and then you can stack and build on that metal. And I always try to weld down in the hole a little bit so it's actually building from down in up. So when I grind it, there's still all metal there. That's Clark's Place theories. So So put a nice bead on that side, so that's all thick and nice new metal, and then just kind of melt it into the rest of the body there.
Well, you don't need this yet.
Then flow it all together. And that should be good.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so.
That was a good pool. And you'll see me leave the thing here afterward until I see in my mask that it's changed colors. The gas continues to flow over it to keep it from getting all crunchy and boogery. So I think I like those. Time to grind. Alright, so you can see it's not perfect, but it's good enough for what I want. I mean, I just had the 2 holes here, filled them in all real good, and you can see as I was grinding, I grind down to where it just starts hitting the rest of the metal, and all the hole is gone. So same with over here, I had 2 holes, and happy with how it turned out. I'm not looking for body slick smooth on the frame, considering you can see it's got weld holes, not holes, but weld marks all through the thing, and the whole big frame covers all of this. So I don't think you ever put Bondo or slick up the actual frame. I think the frame's the frame, but maybe custom shops do. But the integrity of all of this is sound now. It's got a lot of metal in here and all that's solid, so should be good for this vid. I'm not a professional by any means, so if you have any tips for me, throw them in the comments below. I appreciate that, and I'm continuing to get better and better at some of this stuff, so with some viewers' help and some Geek and Son conversations, we can make sure everything goes back together as it should. So go watch Geek and Son too. He's got an awesome project as well. Alright, another look. After doing what I did, plugging the holes, and I had to do a little stitch along here. That looks pretty good.
Okay, well, you don't have to go here.
And then I had a couple holes here, did all that, and did a couple holes here, and did all that. So, like it. Calling that done. Now get some etching, sealing, primering, paint. Then we can throw the 4-link in front, QA1 in.
And then assembly.
And then assembly.